Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. We are on the road, Alan Rough and myself, Peter Martin, and I'm delighted to say we've got a very special boot room guest for you. Stoke City's Charlie Adam is with us here in the best surrounding you could possibly wish for, Roughie. Doesn't get any better than Lytham St Anne's.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful place. You know, as you know, I like a game of golf, and certainly there's a wonderful golf course down here, but I don't think we'll have time for it, will we?
No, we won't have time for that, but what we will have time for is the Big Dipper and, of course, the roller coaster and the waltzers with Charlie. It's a Stonewall certainty. It's a fabulous place. Is it one of those places that you just didn't want to leave when you were at Blackpool, Charlie?
Yeah, it's. I think over the years there's a lot of Scottish players have set up here and are settled here. You know, Cranes, Stephen Craney, Colin Hendry, Brian O'Neill, Stephen Dobby now is living in the area. Bob Harris lives here. So there's a few of us that have just, I don't know why, but it just seems to be the place to live, and everybody that's come here has enjoyed it, and I've been the same. Obviously, my wife's family are here, which is a big pool as well, and I have a lot of friends here, so that's why the decision was really easy.
Yeah, I mean, Roughie, I can understand why Charlie's obviously decided to stay here. The last time I was here near Blackpool, we bought a car for £15 and then we drove down here, me and three of my mates, and had a flat for a tenner, and that flat didn't really give me the feeling that I thought, I'm going to stay here.
No.
Have you been to Blackpool in this area?
I've drove through Blackpool, yeah. It looks quite a buzz, you know, obviously when the summer season's on. I won't be going on any of these rides that you'll be going on.
No. Just in case at your age it doesn't go according to plan. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I can't wait to talk about the football. There's so much that I want to talk to you about. Obviously, it's well documented in the last few days, Charlie, that you clearly still have ambitions to play for Scotland.
Yeah, it's a big ambition for me. You know, it's been a long time. Well, it's felt like a long time since I've been last involved. And it's been disappointing that I've not been involved, obviously, through not playing at my club level, which is important. The lads that I've been playing regular, week in, week out for the club, and I've found it difficult getting in the squad. But I've always said before, there was similar situations before for other players where they weren't playing at the club level and they were playing every game for Scotland, which for me was disappointing. And it's difficult, but you've just got to take it on the chin, and hopefully when the opportunities come, you get it and you grab it, and you could, you know, get back in the squad and try and contribute, because, you know, there'll be nothing better than going to France for the European Championships.
Yeah, and with that in mind, have you had a chance to speak to Gordon and tell him how you're feeling, and obviously say, look, you know what I'm doing?
Yeah, I've had a conversation. He messaged me when I scored that goal against Chelsea, so it was nice to say that he was watching. But no, I think the last time I spoke to him was probably when the lads had played Nigeria in a friendly. I think it was last summer maybe. Yeah. And that was the last time before that I'd spoke to him, and he sort of just gave me that he was bringing in new players and he was going to go with other players, and he said to me, listen, you're an experienced player and I don't really want to take you away and no play you and blah blah. So for me that was difficult. I wanted to play, even though I wanted to be part of it. So, you know, sometimes you just take it on the chin. It's hard, but you just got to keep trying to play as well as you can, and hopefully, you know, get in the squad, and when you get the opportunity, try and take it.
When you're in the squad, do you get a feeling of, it's been obviously a long time since we've been to a final, do you feel now there's a lot of the guys in there saying this has got to be the one?
It does, and I think this is the big one for us. I think if we don't qualify for France, you know, that could be another long time before we do. I think we've got the right squad now at the moment. We have, I don't know, 25, 28, 30 players that are good enough to play for the national team at the moment. And, you know, there's 6 or 7 lads, maybe 10 lads left at the squad every time it's announced. Good players. So it's tough to get into the squad, and when you've got your chance, you need to take it. And the lads in there, the fair play to them at the moment, have started the campaign well. And obviously I've not been part of that, but, you know, they've done a good job and they're in a good position going into this massive qualifier in the summer against the Republic of Ireland.
The manager's big, on every game about players fitting into a system. I mean, you're just one of a number of players that you've mentioned that maybe haven't been able to force their way in. Some actually look as if I'm thinking about Jordan Rhodes, Roughie, where the manager actually said, we're playing a system, can he fit into it? I mean, from your point of view, you'll have played under a number of games where he's got this system. Is it something that suits you?
Yeah, listen, I feel that I'm good enough to be able to get into any system. You basically can say that there's lads ahead of you at the moment. Obviously, Scott Brown's playing well. He's captain at Celtic, captain his country, so it's going to be difficult to leave him out. James Morrison's done a great job since he come into the squad for a number of years. And you've got players like Dan Fletcher who can't even get a sniff at the moment. And that shows, he's over 60 caps for his country and he can't even get in the team. So you've just got to sometimes sit back and watch, but I'm champing at the bit to get back in, and hopefully the opportunity will come in the summer. You can only play well, and hopefully I've done that over the last couple of months to force my way in. If it's not, then we'll sit back and we'll evaluate what's happened, and we'll be ready for when it does happen.
What's the driving force? I mean, from your point of view, you've mentioned to us that you were out of the Stoke City side for 2 or 3 months there, and now suddenly, there's this rich vein of form, which undoubtedly the national manager will notice. Is the driving force for you as you head to the end of the season, just keep that momentum going? Yeah,
I always set myself targets, and I never ever thought I'd score 4 goals in 6 games, but it was. I'm in a good form. I'm in a good place at the moment. It's going well. Everything I seem to be hitting at the moment is going in, which you can help, or heading, which is good. But no, when you have that luck and you have that desire to succeed, which I have since day one, since I became a footballer, I've always had that drive to be the best I can be. And it's good enough for some, but it might not be good enough for others, and that's the way it is. And it's nice to be back in the Stoke team, which is obviously, as any player trying to get in the national team, you need to play well for your club. I've done that in the last couple of months, and hopefully that the manager, takes note of that. And if I'm picked, I'm picked. If I'm not, then it's one of them you take in the chin, and you have to move on and look forward to the games for the start next season.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would think it would be a plus with the national team. I mean, you can play in numerous positions. Do you think that's a plus or a hazard for you, that you're not specialising in one position and you're getting utilised all over the place?
Yeah, I think sometimes it could hinder you, but I don't want to sound too arrogant, but I know that when I'm playing well, I could play in the Scotland team.
What position would you target?
I'm a central midfielder, but some people disagree with that. Then they would probably say that I'm not too sure if he can get around the pitch or blah blah. But people have an opinion. I'm a central midfielder, and I want to dictate the game. I'm long passing, short passing, can drive with it, score goals, and I'm not an Andre Pirlo or things like that. But listen, I'm a good enough player, and I feel that when I'm playing well, I'm scoring goals. I'm as good as anybody that can get in the Scotland team.
Have you changed your game, Charlie, as the years have gone on? I mean, you're mentioning there. Nobody thinks of Charlie Adam as a box-to-box player, but have you changed your game, for the modern game, not only at club level but international level?
You try and adapt to the situations. It's difficult. Each game's different, but for me, it's I play the way I want to play, and that's trying to drive the team, which is important. Be a leader, scoring goals, creating goals. Tackling, and that's what my game is based on. And sometimes there is lads ahead of you that you've just got to sit back and take that. That when they're playing well, and they have the jersey, and it's just when they have a bad game and you get the opportunity to come in, you've got to take the chance and hopefully stay in the side. And
as you well know, Roughie, I mean, Gordon Strachan's big on players with the right attitude. Charlie's got that attitude, he wants to go, and there are a number of them that put their head through a brick wall for the manager because there's a real feel-good factor about it.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie will tell you, in the squads he's been in, it's more of a club than an international side, and if you fit in, obviously, in it, and people have to realise that you go away for long spells of time, so it's really important that you have players who get on well together. I mean, it's a premium, as well as on the park and off the park, so it's just part and parcel of being part of the squad.
Yep. Listen, coming up in the next part of the programme, we're going to have to talk about that goal, Roughie. I really don't want to talk about it. I mean, there's nothing worse. I mean, you just continually talk about that save at Anfield in '77, but we're going to have to talk about that goal to Charlie Adam. He's our special boot room guest. We're on the road with Peter and Roughie's football show. We'll also talk about a charity dear to Charlie's heart, as well as get his thoughts on our own domestic football. So lots to come on this special, and of course over the forthcoming weeks and months we've got some cracking guests for you on the football show. So coming up after the break, more from Charlie Adam of Stoke City and hopefully Scotland in the qualifiers. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's football show. We are on the road. We're in Lytham St Anne's. Roughie and myself delighted that our boot room guest is Stoke City and Scotland international Charlie Adam. That first half talking about all things Scotland. Of course, we've got to talk about that goal because, Roughie, I mean, at the end of the day, you really, on our programme a couple of weeks ago, just felt as if the keeper was murdered. It was a lucky shot.
No.
That's how the goal is.
I said my exact words to you. I knew how the goalkeeper felt because it happened to me a couple of times. Not from that range, obviously. I usually get chipped from nearer in, rather than that distance.
Well, I was going to say to you, I mean, to be fair, Charlie, knowing you as I do, that's something that maybe a lot of English spectators are thinking, wow, that's out of the ordinary, it's top drawer. We used to do that in Scotland on a regular basis.
Yeah, it was. I tried it quite a bit, and I'm lucky that it came off, and that's the third time it's happened. So it's nice for it to happen, and the big thing for it was at Stamford Bridge on Sky, and it was in front of millions of people, and that's why it's been broadcasted so much.
Has it? Well, was the goal more special because it's against a top drawer side and an absolutely top drawer goalkeeper?
It is. It's something special, and there's no getting away from it. That there's not many people who do it, and I think that's the big thing. And some people were debating that it would have been goal of the season. Never mind goal of the month in England at that time. So it's one of them where you have an effort, and listen, it's not the first time I've done it, but I've missed a few as well. So that's one of the things. But you have to have the character to bounce back and try it, and I have. And lucky for me, it went in, and everybody was talking about it.
At what moment did you know you were going to do it? Was there a glance? Was there
I always have a look. I always have a look. I
Mm-hmm.
always have a look in the game. Just because the goalkeepers nowadays, the ball moves so quick in the Premier League. These Nike ones, the trajectory of it was so low, and I knew I had a chance. As soon as I left my boot, I had a chance. The goalie was on his 18-yard box, and I knew he was there from the start of the game. Something I always look for in the goalkeepers, to see the position on certain things in the game where it's developing and where they are. And for me, he was off his line, and lucky enough he couldn't get back to it.
That was magnificent. What's your attitude to the goal? Because I think would it have been even more sweeter if you'd won the game?
Yeah, it would have been. The biggest thing for us, we lost the game, and that on a personal note, yeah, it's great. But in a team way, we lost the game, and at that time we were going through a sticky patch, and we'd lost 3 on the bounce. And the goal got us back into the game, but we lost a goal in the second half, a mistake from the goalkeeper. But no, let's say it was a personal note. It was a great goal, but hopefully the next time it happens, then we're on the winning team. Yeah,
and what did the gaffer say to you? Because he's one of those players that I never get tired of watching. He scored a number of special goals.
Yeah, he has. The videos I've seen over the years, him scoring volleys, bicycle kicks, overhead kicks. He scored some amazing goals, and he said to me a couple of days later what a strike it was, and what was going through your mind. And I just said, I seen the goalie off his line, and the goalkeeping coach obviously helped me, and he does help me every week, saying, listen, if you see the goalkeeper, he's off his line quite a bit, so have a go. And it was really him that forces me into it every week. And for me, it went in, and it was a nice strike.
Yeah, it was absolutely magnificent. And again, and it brings me nicely to something that I know that you're involved in, but I think it would have been great if your dad had seen that goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. I know he would have been proud of that. Just because he's tried it a few times himself, and he always said to me, you know, when I done it at St Mirren, he said, you know, it's, you know, I've scored better goals and things like that. So it would have been nice for him to see it, but sadly it's not to be, and it's one that inside it's still a deep hole there that's missing, and it's hard to take.
I know from your own personal point of view, you miss your dad, and him being a footballer as well helped you greatly, which is why you're involved in the charity. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, the Sam H charity was it's an organisation for basically for people that are close to depression and committing suicide, because not many people know, but that's what happened to my dad. My dad committed suicide, and it was hard, and it still is now to talk about it, but I can talk about it, and I will do, because if I could talk about it and try and help people out there that need the help, you know, and the foundation there that's been set up is an incredible foundation, and they help people, and you know, try and even, you know, my family members and that, they get support and help through that as well. So it's nice to be part of that and trying to give something back. Obviously I've been through the situation, so I sort of know what people are thinking. I don't know what they're thinking, but I've been through that family situation where they've obviously close to being it, and obviously when I lost my dad, I never ever thought that type of person, I never ever thought my dad would do it, and he did. And you need to be a brave person to even think about it, and it was obviously a sad situation, and hopefully me speaking about it can save somebody's life, then great.
Yeah, I mean, from your own personal point of view and your family's, did you need counselling?
I've had my bad days and I've had my good days, but when you've got a wife that, like I have, and the family I've had around me, I have had support. You know, I've been to see people, and you know, the people that have helped me have been great, and got me back onto the road, and hopefully the way I'm playing is a reward for how they've helped me, but the most important is a reward for my family for what we've been through, and hopefully, you know, everything that I do going onto the pitch is always there, and you know, there's never a day goes by that I never think of, you know, could have helped him, but you know, that decision was made from him, and you know, it's hard to take, but we live, and we'll never ever forget about it.
Yeah, a couple of things that I wanted to get your thoughts on, and because I know people around you that are close to you, one of the things that I found disturbing about it is, obviously you want to look for answers. Some people probably are looking at it, and the biggest question for me is, you know, how did he get to that point?
Yeah, that's
not where some people I thought were insensitive towards
yeah.
you, saying, what did he do, how did he do it? I just thought that was crass.
Yeah, it's people, you never know what's going on in people's mind, and I've realised that, you know, it happens in everyday walk of life, but for me, that being in that situation, it was difficult to understand what was the reason, because, you know, we could have, as a family, you know, I was only on the phone, so there was probably never an issue of something, but it's an illness, and sadly, you know, what he done was hard, and you know, he obviously done it, and he succeeded in what he wanted to do, and that's what people say to me, you know, when they've got that mentality, they know and they think it's right to do it, they do it, and you know, it's a sad time, but it's good that I can actually talk about it, and know, I do get upset, but I can talk about it, and hopefully me talking about it can help other people, and that's why I'm in a privileged position of where I am as a player, and hopefully, like I said, me saying and talking about it can stop other people even thinking about it.
Do you feel now everything you achieve in football will be dedicated towards it?
100% is. Every time I walk on the pitch, you know, the biggest thing for me is every time I see my little ones in the stand, it breaks my heart, and not many people can see that, but when I walk out and I see my little girl sat there and she's clapping, it's hard to realise that he's never ever going to meet that, as I call her, my princess, you know what I mean, and it's hard to take that, but that's the things you live for, and she's obviously helped me get through that, and my little boy as well. He's been amazing, and they obviously do miss the granddad, and one day they'll realise what happened, and we can talk about it, and I know that he's always looking down, and that's why when I go on the pitch, everything that I've done since that day, and from when I was a kid growing up, the help I got from him was amazing.
Yeah, and I would presume, just briefly, going out and helping other people is something you're really going to try and...
Yeah, I want to try. I want to try and save people's lives, because it's when you're in that state, it's hard. Two of my brothers have been in a bad situation with it. One of my brothers really suffered with it, and he's been really bad, but he's come out the better of it. He's and it's strange. Football makes people different people. So he plays amateur on a Saturday and Sunday, but that's gave him a new lease of life, and he loves it, and it's got a focus on what he wants to do, and he's enjoying it, and that's what you need when you have something like that in your career or in your family. You need to obviously have a focus, and that's what he's got.
Charlie, honestly, we could talk to you forever and a day. I do hope you get a new contract. I do hope you go on to greater success with Stoke and Scotland. Thanks for watching the programme.